Welcome back to the Whiskey Wisdom Podcast, everybody. This is your co-host, Tyler Y'all, and today I'm with our always co-host, Chris Kellum, and our special guest today is Patrick Giarelli.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
And Patrick's actually an old co-worker of mine back like over 10 years now that I'm thinking.
Over 10 years.
That's wild to think about.
That is wild to think about. Driving here, I thought to myself, I was like, there'll be a reality of a little bit of a joke, which is you're over 30 these days.
Yeah.
But forever.
Yeah.
I was like, man, how can this guy be so sharp, so young, and I'm so much older than him? It just didn't ever feel that way.
Yeah.
But the numbers didn't lie. But then I was like, oh, he's definitely over.
Yep. Definitely got it now. Yeah. Patrick was one of my first managers in professional career life.
Yeah.
During and a little bit after college and everything like that.
Right.
So that was very exciting. You came into my life at a good time to kind of put me in the right trajectory and path. That's one reason why I wanted to bring you on.
Thank you.
It's because one of the things that you actually put down for ways to introduce you is action seeker and life liver. So one of the things that really helped me progress through the rest of my career in different things and now in the financial services industry is, and we talked about this before the podcast, is having that glass half full, but it's actually overflowing. So there's always life to be lived. There's always a good side of every problem. So, and actually that was always a joke when I was over at Reed's too. We have another friend that's been on the podcast a few times. Anytime something would hit the fan over there or something didn't happen, I'm like, it's all going to be fine. We'll be good. We'll make it out of this. It'll be better later. And there was one time something happened and I went to open my mouth. She goes, I know, it'll be fine. I was like, I have a feeling you don't believe it yet, but it will be.
If any of that you got from me, rubbed off from me, then I can wholeheartedly say then my mission here is complete. Discussing on the intro before we turn the mics on as well, but relationships. The one thing that I have established more and more by far, more than ever, is build the relationships while being the positive impact in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of the relationships and the positive impacts in the room, everything's going to be okay.
Right.
Everything will be okay. Still a roller coaster ride, right?
Right.
It's always going to be the ups and downs and all arounds. But if you have that attitude and you surround yourself with good people, everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes, sir. Oh, boy. Let's see. I can do a relatively good elevator pitch here, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Patrick C. Giarelli, I got off my parents' payroll at 21 after making a whole bunch of unique choices, decisions, and outcomes. So therefore, I've been on my own happily and wholeheartedly for 25 plus years. Got married to a beautiful woman 19 years ago, my wonderful wife, Monica. I'm still so surprised every day she hasn't killed me or left me, but she tells me we're good often. Very, very grateful. Was in my first career, per se, the restaurant industry, when at the time, Gerald Smith, long ago, vice president of Reed's Jewelers, kind of just said to me, pretty simple, you ever thought about getting into jewelry? And I said, I remember it very, very clear. No, not at all. Why do you ask? Then a couple of weeks later, one thing led to another, and I was putting in an application and interview and got the job. 10 years later with them, a couple different states, was down in South Carolina for a bit, up in Virginia for a little bit. 10 years later with them, another opportunity at a small boutique jewelry store presented itself. I transferred over to there, became that company's general manager. 5 years after that, Hellsberg Diamonds came calling. This is where I met my man, Tyler. And as soon as I met Tyler, I was like, I would like for you to become my assistant manager immediately, because he had been there and he was an overachiever, a very young, sharp gentleman that I knew that in order for me to be successful, for that store to be successful, I needed to ask him to please team up on this endeavor with me. Year and a half into that, our bubble was burst, and that company went a different direction. That direction led me to a very large boutique.
I would also like to say I'm also still salty about that, because we were actually hitting our numbers for the first time ever, and we were blowing it out of the water. We were getting bonuses every month. And then they were like, hey, yeah, we're actually going to close these stores.
Yep,
And we're
yep.
like, okay, never have I seen a store be successful that you're going to close, but
I
okay,
didn't.
whatever.
I'm glad you mentioned the salty because I've built that bridge.
Right, yeah, I
But
have too,
you're
but
100% correct, and even at the managerial conferences and with the district people telling me that I'm, cultivating a new culture and the things that our team is doing and our service plan penetration rate
right.
was like through the. I mean, we were the masters at it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I remember correctly, we were above 70%.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think we were
easily.
closer to 80%, but we led like the company.
I vividly remember meeting with our regional one time, and she was like, the numbers are so good. The only thing I can say is your return rate is too low.
Interesting negative, but
Yeah.
okay. What we'll try to do is shove more stuff down people's throats
Right.
so we can have more return. So after that salty situation, I found myself helping to run another boutique company, very, very large boutique company. Had a great time with that company, fostered more relationships, more brands, more diamonds, more certifications, more gradings, all the things that the jewelry industry has to offer. And then I was at that store when a gentleman in the real estate field was buying some stuff from me and said, "Man, you ever thought about getting into real estate?" Same response. "No, not really. I couldn't be any more happy than I am." And he says, "Well, let me know if you ever change your mind." One thing led to another. And again, all the credit to my wonderful wife. And she was like, Maybe you would want to do something different. You've been successful at this for almost 20 years. And I was like, okay, let me talk to him. And one thing led to another, teamed up with him, became a real estate investor full time, which what I usually say about that in comparison to jewelry is more fun. Real estate offers more economics and more freedom of flexibility of your schedule.
Mhm.
And I can't speak for everybody, but I can definitely say for me, the older I get, the more I want my time. And I think anybody who has a job, a goal should be make more money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing? And then about a year ago, we decided that I should complete the real estate circle and I got my broker's license.
Mm.
So now I'm also a realtor. So if and when you gentlemen need to buy or sell a house, you let me know.
You got to.
Okay, let me know. Let me know. And then the rest of it is, I wouldn't say I'm a yes man by any ways and means, but if somebody brings me an opportunity, something that'll help me grow, here we are right now, something that'll cultivate relationships or experiences or give me an opportunity to do things I've never done before, then I like to say yes a lot to that. What are you doing?
Oh,
Chris has been muted this whole time.
Oh,
mm,
well, you're back in there, bud. Glad to have you.
I can
okay.
edit it. It'll be fine.
it's all good. So I'll throw in some whiskey tidbits at the back end of the episode.
Okay.
Right, we'll make up
yes,
for
Because
it.
you read the thing.
Yeah, it's
There
all
we
good.
are. There we are.
So, question.
Please.
What, I'm sure plenty of people question this. What's a real estate investor compared to like a traditional real estate agent
That's
and a realtor?
It's a great question. So how would I answer it though? Real estate investor, I usually use my two hands, right?
Mhm.
So over here, real estate investor, you're going to buy low and sell high.
Okay.
You're also going to rehab things. You're going to find multiple exit strategies that have paths to profit.
Okay.
And all this stuff over here, you do not need a license
Okay.
because you're
Gotcha,
doing
gotcha.
it for yourself, your LLC, your entity, or for my circumstance, for this small company that we have.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need a license to do these things. Now, we were losing some economic opportunities because when we would complete a flip or a rehab, in order to list it, we had to take it over here to just an extended partner.
Mhm.
So we saw money walking out the door. So to complete the circle, you get the left side of the investment world, take this side of the broker realtor world. And I usually express this is what 80% of everybody knows.
Yes.
Put the sign in the front yard, sell the house. there's a buyer's agent and a seller's agent, and that's what 80% of all real estate is.
Mhm.
So what we decided, within the last year was to take the 20% of the niche stuff that does have usually pretty good profit margins and take the 80% of the traditional stuff, put it together. That way we could make sure that any and every real estate venture we were working on, we could capture as much of the economic benefits in-house.
That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. You're still working with the small organization that you started with then too?
Yeah. So the day-to-day operations, realistically speaking, is I go to this office and we scour through all of our different lead-generated things, which is a boatload of things. And then the cool part about having your broker or realtor license is that broker in charge, right? So over here, this is the person I report to. And as I was interviewing, fun dynamic, when you're going to find a firm to hang your license with,
Yeah.
Right.
they're interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing.
Right.
And I was telling all of them what I really do and how I wanted to complete the circle. And my boss over here said, that's completely fine as long as you keep it transparent, above board, legal. I said, fantastic. You're talking to the right person because I definitely like making money, but I definitely want to do everything legit
Right.
because the alternative as grown people is terrible.
Yeah.
Ruin your
Mhm.
reputation, get blackballed, lose opportunities, lose relationships. And I can't do any of that.
You also don't seem like a person who wants to have a gate across your door and have to share a bedroom with a bunk bed.
For sure. I do not want to go there at all and say hello to those folks. No,
Yes.
no.
I mean, I feel like there are some people in the world who are like, oh, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'm like, really? You want to sleep on a bunk bed over 25? This
Yeah,
is
it's not
summer camp.
not top of my list of things to do.
I think about all of my joy and fun and happiness. I don't feel like there would be a lot of access to my wife,
Right.
golf,
Mm.
my family, whiskey, football. I could just keep going and going
Right.
and going. It'd be a little limiting for
I was going to say, there's some limits, but you could get most of those things.
go and play golf.
Yeah.
Depends on where you end up at.
And here's the good.
if you
I
get
feel like
enough-
Martha Stewart played golf.
if you get a good enough white collar jail, maybe.
I'm going to go with let's not find out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be my take. Let's not find out.
No,
So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of all the different ways that I've attempted to make. Well, that's not true. Not all the different ways. The ways that I've actually made money
Okay.
that I've tried and tossed my hat in a million different endeavors that, as we were discussing on the front side as well, a couple of my own podcasts. Now, there was a short period of time where the one podcast I was the host of, I did receive mailbox money. And it was just exhilarating to be walking to your mailbox, anticipating the Progress Energy bill and so
Right.
on and so forth.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you would see the logo of that company and I go, oh, cool. Open it up. And I mean, I'm quite confident the largest check I ever received was $182.
Ooh,
But I'm just saying,
that
It's better than nothing.
good meal right there.
like, especially considering even how that one came together, it was like a handful of things I've been involved in was kind of gray and murky, but positive and gray and murky.
Yeah.
And there was discussions that I would make money in some capacity. Just never really found out exactly what that meant. And then I walked to the mailbox and every once in a while there'd be a check.
Hey.
Okay,
Nice.
I'll
Yeah.
take it, Then I had to pay taxes on it, like everything.
Right.
So, okay. So, when it comes to the world you're in with real estate,
Okay.
you brought up taxes. So, I'm curious, do you guys pay taxes when you buy them or when you flip them?
It's a great question. So on this side of the world, the taxes are paid at both.
Okay.
So you pay taxes to acquire it
Mm-hmm.
and then you pay taxes when you sell it.
Is that in every state too?
Can't speak for every state.
Yeah,
It'd be over
but
my
definitely in North
but
Carolina.
definitely in North
Okay.
Carolina. I would say that wholeheartedly, probably all of us who are intelligent realize that for every dollar we make, 50 cents of that dollar is going to Uncle Sam.
Yes.
And I would say in real estate and rounding out all of my money in, money out, it might even be closer to 55 cents out
Yeah.
than just the 50. But I mean, but look, any of us who have a career, if you take into consideration property tax, sales tax, income tax, I mean, all the levels, sales tax, I mean, at best, you're clearing 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
But now I'm really putting a damper on this exciting podcast.
Oh, no, no.
But
Well, it was funny. So, like, our old coworker loves her to death, but she was able, and I've never been smart enough to do this ever since, is she'd be like, okay, well, I know that I worked this much, I sold this much, and she could math out
yeah,
and know what her paychecks were before they showed up.
definitely.
And I'm like, this is amazing. I wish I could do that. And the reason I can't do that is because, like, the margins of my commissions are so vast that I can't be like, oh, well, I'm making this on this, and that. Like, it's not
Bet
vast.
you could get close if we made you. I mean, because as you mentioned this old coworker, I can
Yeah.
definitely say that me and kind of thinking him,
Yeah.
we definitely used to be able to do it. And I could just see this big number and then get the calculator out and go minus that, divide that, subtract that.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's how much I'm really going to take home.
Right.
But, you know, it's yin and yang, right? I observe the world of people who don't have jobs.
Yeah.
And about as entertaining as those people in those cells. Because I think if you don't have economic ways and means, and I'm not a wealthy man, but if you don't have economic ways and means, that looks tough too.
It does.
It looks tough
Mhm.
too. And even though Uncle Sam takes from us hardworking, middle class-ish type people, it's where we are. It's where we are. Maybe I'll be wealthy one day. No longer really a goal. I'll put happiness far over wealth,
Okay.
but I definitely desire to not be poor. I've certainly quoted that from time to time. I don't need to be rich, but I cannot be poor.
Okay.
That looks
I was watching another podcast the other day, and this guy said that there's truly only 4 like levels of wealth,
okay.
and it's poor, not poor, rich, and mega rich.
Okay.
And the way that
Yes.
he defined those is like poor is you don't know where your next meal is coming from.
Right.
Not poor is you're pretty sure you're gonna have a meal that day. It's like, but you still feel like you're paycheck to paycheck.
Sure.
You have rich where you feel like you're not concerned about paycheck to paycheck. You can go on the trips that you want. And he said, and then there's a version of ultra rich. He said at this point for most people, it makes no difference. Like it's just extra money that
And
they
even-
have. And he said there's additional pain points that those people have on top of the rich. And he was like, I know a lot of people I'd rather just be rich than mega rich because of the extra like headaches that is without any extra like happiness benefit. And I was like, that's interesting. And he said those numbers change for each person, obviously,
Sure.
but within reason. But
Well, one of my long-standing statements, quotes, philosophies is, "Oh, I am filthy rich. I'm just not very wealthy."
yeah,
Wealth is how much money
Mm-hmm.
one has.
right.
Riches come in abundance of fashions. So even as I've already mentioned, my wife, my family, my friends, my relationships, my health. I mean, I feel like it's something that so many of us take for granted, and I do my best not to. So I mean, I'm filthy rich, but I still have to work every day to make sure that I can continuously go on all the trips I want.
Right.
Yeah.
I regularly do go on all the trips I want, but I'm not allowed to stop working,
Mm-hmm.
because if I was to stop, I would then not be regularly going on all my trips.
Right.
And I've philosophized a few different ways of how we could sell everything and get out of the game right now. And my wife, who is much smarter, prettier, sweeter, cuter, she's just better than I am. She was like, we're not doing that. Okay. We're not doing that. I'm like, what's wrong with a single wide? I mean, we've purchased some really attractive single wides in my time.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I didn't know. But like 2022, 2023, I was in a brand new single wide.
It's
There
a
might be a
hotel.
time. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
They're looking really nice.
There
lately,
might
just
be a
saying.
time because even with the unique challenges, I mean, equity is a beautiful thing,
Mhm.
but I can speak for myself. The current home we're in, we've been there for 8 years now, and the interest rate we have is outstanding. The equity we have is outstanding. I say this pretty sincerely. In Wilmington, I'll never move. If we move out of southeastern North Carolina, then I'll just settle everything, take the equity, and go somewhere else. But as far as where I live right now, that's home. That is home.
It's crazy to think. So, like, not in a bad way. I just remember being younger and looking at house prices and
Mhm.
like, oh, yeah, this is a lot of money, but it's kind of affordable. And now I'm looking at some of these same houses. I'm like, ain't no way.
Right.
You telling me I'm gonna pay that much for that?
Right. When,
And I got to rehab the
Especially
whole
when
thing.
you've seen what the price was prior.
So
That's
like kids
dangerous.
nowadays,
Yep.
like the people who are turning 25, 26, who
Yep.
weren't looking at houses in 2019, they're like, this is expected. But I was looking at houses in 2019
right.
and I saw the increase.
Think as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
and as usually the old man in most rooms, there's baby steps, right? And even I have a couple siblings who are much closer to Tyler's age than my age, and I've tried to say like, well, just make the first step.
Mm.
What do you mean? Well, get that townhome. Get that townhome right there.
Yeah.
Let that townhome start building you some equity. Wait until the market, because the market's like this.
Always.
Wait until the market, whichever market you even want to discuss, the real estate market or the mortgage market, wait until one or both take a little dip. You've still got your equity. Now transition into your next single family home. And especially single family home, if you are a single person, which both of my siblings are, sure. I mean, I would have a hard time purchasing a 1,800 square foot dwelling by myself if I didn't have my wife in the endeavor with me. So the world's ever changing, but it seems like this is one of my huge talking points to the people who say it's impossible. The American dream is dying. Let's talk about your priorities. Okay, because a job that doesn't exist, but I would volunteer with the government to be the czar of economic priorities. People would come into my office, and I think I'll give them like a half an hour each, because I think that's all it would take. We would just discuss how much money you make, where it goes, and what you're doing right and wrong.
Mhm.
And wrong is subjective, but
Yeah.
let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Okay, $2,000 phone. See, that probably wasn't your best purchase. $200 shoes. Well, if you don't have any equity, that probably wasn't your best purchase. But additional dilemma, and I use my parents, which again, we all had parents, but I just use my parents in this conversation, right? Their first house was like 900 square feet, had one bathroom, and it was on like, I think like a third of an acre, which around here
Is a lot. Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't around here, but around here, shoot. But this wasn't around here. But you were doing something.
Yeah.
You now owned that thing. Whereas the generations segue, and tumble sounded negative, sorry. Segue, our goals and missions have changed. I'm 25. I want 1,750 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a frog, 2-car driveway, and let's go. Well, wait, that's not a starter home. That's like a full-fledged, like, I'm a grown-up home.
Yeah.
You need to get that 100 square foot home, 1.15 bathrooms. I mean, but I can't do it that way. Well, it's your option.
Mhm.
So
I mean, even my first like starter home was 1,200 square feet,
There we go.
maybe.
there we go.
This is Leland before Leland was doing anything.
Right.
So this was back in like what 2016 Leland. So
Sure.
before the bypass
Better
was
part
even
than 10 years
created,
ago. Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Gosh.
So you had to
It's
sit in the
been that
traffic to
long.
come over. So no one wanted to go out that way.
100%.
The person who lived in it prior had dogs and cats that I don't think ever let them outside.
Must not have.
So they
Had a
had to.
wonderful fragrance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. She was also a chain smoker.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So
Both.
yeah,
Oh, so she did a lot of
In the
upgrades in the
industry, I
house.
see one or the other often, but both is a
Both.
double whammy.
exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we bought that house extremely cheap, obviously. And so, yeah, so I did find something out, and this was a little bit savvy of me that I'm sure a lot of people didn't know or realize at the time, but I realized that in Leland, it's rural land is what they call it. So you can have a
Rural.
USDA.
Yes.
So I was like, sweet, I'll do like the 0% down for the rural land out there. And I'll take what I was supposed to put for the down payment for even just, I think it was like 5 or 10%, whatever, like the first home buyer thing is. I was like, I'll take that and put it into rehabbing this thing.
Yes.
And so took all the carpet out, brand new,
What you do.
yeah,
This is what you do.
LVP, cleaned out the whole
Yes.
entire ductwork,
Yes.
made it a beautiful home, sold it for significantly more
Yes.
than what we bought it for about 3 years later.
Sure.
Which, going back to taxes, you don't pay capital gains on that.
Because you live there
because I live
as your
there.
permanent residence for longer than 1 year.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Fantastic. That's our real estate investor guide tip of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is do what he just said. And yeah, our first home was similar. We were definitely under 1,100 square feet. We put on an addition to that house, took down an exterior wall. The addition was 92 square feet. But those 92 square feet were game changers.
Yeah.
And same idea, because we were paying for the addition in cash, all of the upgrades in cash. When it came time to sell that, we sold that house for like $187 a square foot, and we bought the one we're in currently for like $132 a
Wow.
square foot. Our mortgage didn't change.
Oh.
I was in a 15-year on that house
Oh, yeah.
because of the savviness. I figured out a way once. I always had this philosophy too, because I was around in 2006, 7, 8, and I saw so many people like crumble. And I was like, I will never refi. No. Refi, just don't cash out
Right.
and go buy TVs and cars and
Yeah.
junk. So at some point in our 30 on that smaller property, we transitioned to a 15. And then I was paying more than the monthly rate anyways, because that's what you do. Step 2 for today, folks, pay more than the minimum.
Yeah.
And then when we got into the bigger home, the mortgage, it didn't change. Had to go back to a 30. But the interest rate was even less.
Right.
So at least I'm attacking more principal.
Yeah.
So, and now, in less than 10 years, that home has doubled in value from what we paid to what I could sell it for tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Awesome, scary, and crazy. And that's why I'll be there forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because like we look at it, and a lot of people like, yes, you want to buy a starter home and then move to the next house if you can, but also I understand like the point of view of I'm looking for a house that I'm moving into, and this is where I'm staying for the next 30 years because I want our kids to have one location.
Sure.
So I see both sides
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
coin.
And if you want to do that,
Yeah.
it's available too.
Yeah.
It's called sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more Friday night date nights. You're not going to take vacation for a couple years, because when we bought our first home, we were young, dumb, poor people. And the only way young, dumb, poor people, still the same way today, is you have to make sacrifices. Then, if that's what you want, you got that chunk of deposit, you put it down. Now you've already said you're going to be there for 30 years. So it's the slow and steady grind of, well, we'll redo that bathroom in the spring.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do everything immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the longer I'm in real estate, the more it becomes obvious and knowledgeable. Options. There's so many different ways to
So
buy
many
a house,
options.
live in a house, have a house, sell a house, acquire a house. There's so many different models to make money with your houses, how you borrow the money, who you borrow the money from, the way you borrow the money.
True.
So it's very, very interesting. And there's certainly a rhyme and a reason, and I am not one, but there's certainly a rhyme and reason why there's more millionaires made in real estate in the United States than any other profession, because there's so many ways to make money inside of that profession.
I know you do a lot in different aspects of the real estate industry and a bunch of, as you said, a bunch of different ways to invest in real estate. What are one or two of your favorite ways to find either one, investment properties, or just to make money inside of real estate?
Yes. Easiest way to potentially find acquisitions,
Mm.
and especially in a world where so many people are adverse of doing what I'm about to say, which involves human contact. It involves human contact, but the easiest way to find a potential investment property, and sometimes you can find that property and you don't even know what you're going to do with it yet, is get in your car and go drive around in neighborhoods that you might live in, or you at least would acknowledge that people would like to live in. And in every single one of those neighborhoods, there's a couple houses that just stick out like a sore thumb,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it might be. Junk all over the place. Haven't pressure washed in 15 years.
Mhm.
Landscape looks like a jungle. Park the car. You walk up to the front door. You ring the doorbell and you say, "Hey, just curious, have you ever thought about selling your house?" That is the easiest way, especially in a world where people don't do that as often anymore. Because what so many people do these days, which is also useful, which is, what computer program can I make figure out these variables for me? And look, I have grown so much with how I feel, use, and speak about technology over the years. He would have remembered back then, 10 years ago, how I was quite confident it was the devil. It was ruining the world. And
Which is still true at that point, right? But there's
Well-
opportunities.
Well, we say thank you to the computers nowadays, just in case.
Right.
when I use AI, I put in the word please.
Yep.
Necessarily been told that. But that is probably the easiest way to find an investment property. Now, what does investment property mean? So actually, after you have done this and you've knocked on a couple doors and you made a couple contacts, now you can utilize your friend Patrick, because I can then help you figure out a way of how are you going to make money with this. The industry, well, let's break it down, right? Wilmington or southeastern North Carolina as a whole is small.
Mm-hmm.
And then the real estate industry is smaller than Wilmington.
Yeah.
And then the successful movers and shakers are even smaller. But if you, I, we, anyone has a thing, I probably have some ideas of what we could do to monetize that thing. And if I'm not even the perfect solution, I probably got 3 phone numbers of somebody that we're going to now go talk to. Because here we are again, back to relationships, right?
Yeah.
Because the more people I help themselves and vice versa, and it all goes around in a synergistic circle. And so I've been very fortunate to, with my partner and boss and team over here, to have opened up a lot of doors, introduced me to a lot of people, a lot of strategies, a lot of options. And now I've cultivated all these relationships further and further and further. And usually I can help people or us or this and figure out a way to make money with it. If it's in southeastern North Carolina, as long as you've acquired it for a reasonable rate, we will find a path to profit. This is southeastern North Carolina.
Hey, so Chris question of the afternoon. Where does it turn from southeast to northeast and then switching over to west?
Touche, good question.
Because I always hear, oh, southeast North Carolina. I'm
Yep.
like, doesn't that go all the way out to like Southern Pines? Or are you thinking like Fayetteville this way?
That's what I think.
So that's a great question, and I was going to use Fayetteville as our furthest west point
Okay.
because we had a footprint in Fayetteville for a couple years, and there was certainly successful ways to make money in Cumberland County.
Mhm.
I would say when I reference southeastern North Carolina, I'm just sincerely saying Hanover County, Pender County, Brunswick County, Onslow County.
Okay.
That's what I'm
The
sincerely.
corner. Yeah.
How close are you to the ocean?
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's why the masses are coming. And that's also why the people who are born and bred here don't leave. And that's also why I hear people say stuff like, it's just so crowded. Mm-hmm. And then I wonder when I come across a lady or whoever in the summertime, it's so hot. I hate summers here. I just always remark, like, you're allowed to move.
You can.
You're allowed to move. Really, it would do the rest of us some benefits. If you don't like being
True.
here, could you get out of the way? Because supply and demand is all jacked up anyways. And if you could free up your dwelling and you're going to help with our supply and help with the demand and bring prices down and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. But those are definitely those four counties. Those four
Okay.
counties. People want to be close to the beach, even if they don't know what it's like to have a freaking hurricane. You know?
I don't mind. Like, yes, it's hot. There's this thing called the world is warming. But my major issue is having to pay for parking everywhere.
That's the crowdedness of it.
Yeah, because like obviously I've always had to pay. I grew up going to Wrightsville Beach, so I know about.
Because
paying
you
for
are from
parking.
here.
Yeah,
Man,
but like when I have to go and it's $6 an hour to go park, and I'm like, bro, I really just wanted my one day off to go to the beach. I wasn't trying to like lose a whole entire date.
You want to know what I say to that though? Is I'm glad that you found a parking spot at Wrightsville Beach.
at all. Right. It was the fact that you found that parking spot. Congratulations.
Right.
You pay your $6 an hour and smile.
But I'm paying it at 4. I'm like, I've shown up recently. I'm like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I shouldn't. Nope, you're paying until 7.
You know?
Like, what?
Well, so then I say it like this, but I say it with, again, my heart is full.
Yes.
My honesty is sincere. I really like where I live. I live here on purpose. My wife and I are quite flexible. We could move. I live here on purpose. 10 years ago, it was better. 10 years ago, it was better. And I've been here for kind of ebbs and flows. I originally arrived in 97 for college. It was probably even better then.
You're not wrong. 2016 was like peak.
It was like prime. That's kind of what I say. Like
Yeah.
10 years ago, not all the way back to the 90s, we were a little too small.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough of anything. We didn't have a
even
music venue. We
Yeah.
didn't have we had one shopping facility, blah, 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 blah. And it was still just a whole lot of, attractive trees and things like that.
Mhm.
Now in New Hanover County, with the help of our mayor, so on and so forth, we are kill all trees. While we have a green movement,
Right. We're trying to figure that out.
super perplexing there. But yeah, I feel like 10 years ago, because at that point we had like the stuff,
Mhm.
but we weren't inundated with bumper to bumper to bumper. And I'm not trying to, like, traffic's not the thing that sincerely bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it 100, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible out there at particular times and particular dates and hours. I mean, it's special.
Yeah.
And because the humans beat the infrastructure, I see no resolution to the infrastructure. They float out these ideas about even like a military cutoff in Eastwood and putting them
over.
Yeah, when y'all starting? Because you gotta start it before it'll ever be done. And I don't see any codes or
No.
any projects
But
being
also that project, like I understand the concept,
sure. No, it won't matter.
but that means that we're gonna have even worse traffic
For
for at least 5 years.
100%, 100%, 100%. And by the time they get done with it, because people are still coming, it's not going to
perfect
help
video.
much. It's kind of like that ginormous bypass over here by Gordon Road.
Yeah.
I mean, sort of helpful, but not as
So it would be more
game-changing.
helpful if it had finished and the Market Street expansion had been done at the same time.
Definitely.
So because the Market Street expansion kept having holdups,
Sure.
the traffic there all shifted to the bypass.
Right.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
But if you could, like, once the Market Street is done and the bypass, then people will split it. Because now, if I'm going to Porter's Neck, I'm taking the bypass, which is way out of my, like, I'm literally going to my elbow to get to my kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, just because I don't want to deal with going down Market.
Nice Sandlot reference as well.
Yeah.
Excellent work. Excellent work. As again, the old man, it's always nice to see that some of these outstanding flicks find themselves through
Right.
generations. Let's go. Such a good one. Such a good
I have references for days.
one.
Don't.
Yeah, Chris
Just
is the
ask
king
me.
of movie references. So if you ever need one,
Movies, songs.
Good.
My wife hates it sometimes. She's like, babe, were you even listening to what I said?
it's like not after you said those couple words that made me
Because
think
those
of this
couple
whole
words
song.
made me think of Step Brothers, and here we are. And here we are. There's so much activities.
Yes. I mean, this new studio does have a lot more room for activity.
That is true.
Yeah, so much. But
I did think of something random that
Send
you
it.
two have in common outside of both working at Reed's Jewelers.
Okay.
You're both officiants.
Touche.
yeah.
Indeed.
I forget.
I was like, I forget about them.
I got an email the other day. Congratulations on your 3 years anniversary. And I'm like, oh. I mean, technically I'm on par. I've done one wedding per year.
Per year?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. I don't think anything. I'm confident I'm at 10 years of being an ordained minister. Feels right. It feels right. Let's call it 10. Maybe it's 11, but,
Yeah.
and I've done like 9. So close.
Yeah.
Close to 1 a year.
So about a couple weeks.
Yeah. I tell you, that's a cool experience though, right?
It is.
Do you write them?
I go,
Yeah,
I-
yes. Okay.
We'll
Do
see
you
next.
cultivate them from a thing and make them special to
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yes. So you're right.
so it's not like me just going in and be like, all right, here, I'm saying the exact same thing
No,
that
right.
Chat GPT told
Correct.
me.
Sir.
Right.
No.
Yes.
Right. I
Yes.
think that's all part of the fun is cultivating them
Yes.
for the
Each experience.
experience. And then very, very, very fortunate to marry some great friends, some business partners, and also some strangers who then knew me from somebody. And I was like, well, I can't say no. I mean, I could say no, but why would I
Yeah.
say no? Because I don't. Here's the part that my wife calls me the outgoing sucker that I am. Like, I don't make money off of that because I got into it because I thought that the people charging $500 was outlandishly terrible.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be the change you wanted to see in the world.
Mhm.
But I usually somehow get like $100 handshake and a bottle of bourbon. I feel like I'm killing it.
Yeah.
Because then by the next day, I'm like, I got $100. I'll put that over here in my sock drawer. And I got a bottle of bourbon, so I don't have to go to the ABC
Okay,
store
yeah.
this week. So we're doing good things.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really, really cool experience. It's funny too. I think the more you do, right? So I don't know which came first, chicken and egg, but I was an actor as well, jack of all the trades. And I'm not 100% sure what I've mastered outside of optimism and relationship building.
Those are probably two important ones, though.
Yeah.
I think so. I think they seem to just open countless doors. But when I was an actor as a young person, which then, in my opinion, made sales a little bit simpler, and then sales made wedding efficiency a little bit simpler, and then wedding efficiency when somebody asked me like 12 months ago where we're seated, hey, have you ever acted? Yeah. You want to be in a play in the spring? I said, cool. It's been a while. I did a play this past spring, and then I think the play gives me more stage time and confidence. So now this upcoming spring, I've been very, very fortunate to be selected to give a TEDx talk, which is basically a TED talk, but at the same time, if you do a TED talk, you're in California. That's the big
Okay.
difference, right?
Okay, that was trying
One
to
of you, one of you was getting ready to ask. I said,
Yeah.
everybody else, my parents, everybody, huh? I go, TEDx is when they bring the philosophies of TED to a city,
Okay.
to a different place. So instead of me going to California and being on TED's stage, TEDx is having a TEDx Airly
Mm.
in the spring
Oh.
in a very unique application process of trying to figure out, like, are you worthy of being on the stage? And through the trials and tribulations, I said this to somebody just yesterday, joking, but probably honest, which is, yeah, I think they selected 15 people, and I'm pretty sure I was number 15. That person happily said to me, but you were selected.
True.
I said, that's what I'm talking
Yes.
about.
That is
That's what I'm talking about.
Complete
100%.
positivity.
100%. Well, I said it sarcastically and fun and so on and so forth, not knowing what that person would say, but they put it right back on me. And I was like, well, that's totally where I'm at. That's totally where I'm at. So now I'm pretty stoked and excited about sharing an idea that the concept is, will it or will it not change the world? No big deal. Just get that done. Will it or will it not change the world? So we'll see. I hope so. It's going to be another cool endeavor though, but I just think action seeking life liver, it's just doing all the damn things.
Mm.
And you know, I think somebody might have been the question. I don't even know. Somebody said something. How do you define success? That's what that never ending saga of question. And mine is just like the man in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
The
Love it,
art
yeah.
of the doing. If you're doing it, whatever it is, all of these different professions as well and relationships as well, that's success, you know? So again, I don't want to be poor.
Oh yeah.
I
Right.
don't
Understandable.
need to be wealthy, but man, I'm happy and healthy with a bunch of different opportunities that come across my desk, office, phone. I don't know. I'm pretty fortunate. Pretty fortunate.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
2 quick questions. You also stole Chris's last question. So
Cool.
definition of success.
Yeah, so it worked out.
So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. 2 quick questions. One is, are you able to share with us just the title of your talk?
It's a good question.
And if not,
Yeah.
where can people go to buy tickets so they can show up and listen to it?
Let me see. I will give you half of my title
Okay.
Okay.
to create boundless intrigue.
Sounds good.
And you, sir, because of those years ago, you may have an inside track of what I'm talking about. So the half of the title is 8760. And I'm going to leave it at that. And then to answer the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, I don't know any of that yet.
Okay.
Well, I know some of it. It's May 15th. It's downtown at Union Station
Oh,
at
yeah.
Cape Fear Community College.
Okay.
And then access, no, don't know. But,
Okay.
but when I do my new foray into social media, my new foray, look at this, you love it. It's the year of 2025. I will certainly be blasting those channels with that information
Okay.
because I think it's going to be a cool event with or without anything I might say, but probably including what I will say and the other 14 people, and especially amongst a group of people who like wisdom, knowledge, information, thought-provoking ideas.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. I mean, it's going to be cool. And, you know, as long as I don't say a whole bunch of ahs, or
Yeah.
fall off the stage, I think we'll
Success, yeah.
be in a good position.
True. If you trip, try and go sideways, not
Right.
forward.
Yeah. So the second of the 2 questions is, where did the optimism come from that lead you to where you are today? If you could say, like, there was one or two like certain instances.
Outstanding question, Tyler. All right. I think it looks something like this. When I was failing over and over and over again and just doing dumb stuff and making dumb choices, you kind of get to a point where it's either sink or swim.
Mhm.
And I was at the impasse of a few different pivotal points in my life, which I had failed enough to know that it was time to sink or swim. I had gotten my position with Reeds,
Mm.
and one of their, well, you guys, one of their top 8 things, and it's number 1, is positive mental attitude.
Oh yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, and 3 is, all of this is about the same time that I met my now wife. And so connecting all these things, right? Which is, 1, this beautiful, outstanding, smart, awesome woman is not going to want to be with the guy who chose to sink. I wouldn't want to be with the woman who chose to sink.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to have success with Reeds pretty quick. And what I noticed was it was how I was starting to, we'll be hilarious about it, right? How I was starting to get drunk on the Kool-Aid.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I want more Kool-Aid. So then one thing led to another, and I became a positive seeker. Everything I touched, everything I read. And now it's 25 years of mission critical swim and every avenue that can cultivate the continued mantra of optimism. So it's like everything.
Yeah.
It's what I read, it's who I talk to, it's what I talk about. It's everything. I mean, I couldn't be more confident than the one thing that has propelled me through this world is optimistic confidence.
Mm.
People will like the happy person. Opportunities will be presented to the positive person.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's going to be okay is what leaders do with or without a title.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got to believe it,
Right.
right? So all those people out there who like to even question me, it's fine. It's totally fine. Because here's what I know. I can't do you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to do me. But what I control is what I do. And so then therefore what I do is I push the positive narrative. But it sounds like I have to think about it. No. Not these days. Not at all. It's been years of not thinking about it.
Right.
Because it was easy to figure out that, I see a little baby Yoda. This is the way.
Right.
I mean, this is the way. This is the way, and great question. Thank you for making me think about that. But that's the answer for sure.
You bring up a good point though, and you kind of said it, and I just want to go back over it again. At first, it wasn't just natural. You did have to think about it.
100%.
There was something that was like a muscle you had to work out every day to get to where you are now.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Matter of fact, I would say that discipline in many avenues of life has become if optimism's in my right pocket, discipline's in my left, or maybe chicken and egg.
Yeah.
Because I will not falter on the training. And even though it's on like autopilot now, yeah, I still train every day because I don't want to take that autopilot for granted.
Yeah.
But if it's exercise, if it's wisdom, if it's optimism, if it's discipline as a whole, if it's how I treat others, how I treat my wife, here's a great quote, right? If you're not working on yourself to become better daily, it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. So either invest in yourself, be disciplined, see the good in everything, and dominate this wonderful, beautiful tapestry of life, or be like the common person who likes to say the dumbest crap. I don't even know what happened. Don't know what happened. Why you're dumb? I've got friends. confidently say stuff like this. I haven't read a book since I got out of college. And you're proud about that? Well, that's the
Mhm.
or people who say, you go to the gym 300 times a year? Yes. I like to be fit and have energy,
Yes.
stay attractive for my attractive wife, and vice versa, so on and so forth, so on and so. Like, I can't even imagine. I hate the gym. And I say, you don't have to go to the gym, Bob. You can do any exercise that you like.
Yeah.
And then you keep breaking it down. And it just boils down to they don't want to do a damn thing.
Right.
So then they wonder, why don't my pants fit? What do you mean, why don't your pants fit? Because you don't have any discipline. And that goes back to the priorities are.
Yes.
I could do it. I mean, I could, dang it, man. Maybe us three as like a threesome.
Full circle.
Yeah, we can get some stuff done. I could get some stuff done. But in the meantime, I'll just focus on what I can control, which is me and just maybe a casual influence on my beautiful wife. And then, if it's somebody from 10 years ago, my kind of core mantra these days, been this way for a while, but just to leave any room I enter better than when I arrived. That's where I'm at, man.
I thought he said, I thought he just had to have a positive attitude because he was a Browns fan.
They coincide. Well, they coincide as well. It's tough out there. And even with some of my cousins who are super simple at maximizing all of the negativity, I won't let them do it either.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we just got a first down. Let's go. Today's the only game that matters. Today's the only quarterback that we may have used 42 different quarterbacks in the last 25 years.
And you're still paying for 40 of them.
Definitely. Jameis Winston's still getting a check from us, and Deshaun could buy a Bahamas. Anyways, this derail. This derail. We're not talking about this, even though I am curious what the score is, but this is more important.
I just had to bring it up. So what do you think about this whiskey that we tried? The Oak and Eden.
Well, the good news is that I thought it was kind of yummy, easy to sip on. There'll be some additional humor here, which is I try not to drink straight liquor, in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
Because then what will happen is this ear gets a little warm, and there was probably a couple slurred words in this chat just because, there's not that much food in here yet.
Right.
We're still traditionally in the hydrating portion
Of the day.
Right.
but now we just said, well, look, we're doing whiskey and wisdom. We got to do a little dehydrating, but I'm very, very grateful to be drinking yummy whiskey in the middle of the afternoon with you fine gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Did you know Oak and Eden is actually from Texas?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was looking up. I'm like, really? You're from Texas?
How about this question? Because I feel like some whiskey drinking people will know some answers.
Maybe.
10, 12, 15 years ago, and you guys might not have been drinking yet. Good job. Bourbon only came from Kentucky.
So,
But now that's no longer, I mean, I realize this is whiskey, but they're all cousins.
Right,
they're in
yeah.
the same bed.
Yes.
But now bourbon is no longer limited to only Kentucky. What changed?
It's as long as it's made in America, it has been aged for at least 2 years in charred oak barrels,
new.
new charred oak barrels.
Okay.
And I think there's a third one.
It has to have a
Oh, it
percentage
has to
of
be
corn.
over 50% corn.
Corn.
Yeah.
So they
Those are the-
took that broad spectrum. They're
Yep.
like, okay, this is what you were saying means it's bourbon.
Right.
Nothing ever said it had to be from Kentucky.
Right.
The description were those things like had to be new, had to be aged.
There was
and
something I read a while ago that people in America were getting too broad with what they were calling bourbon.
Okay.
So they had to start narrowing it down because even though like back in the day, you're right, like if it was coming from Kentucky, they just called it bourbon.
Yeah.
And then people were making like ryes in Kentucky and they're like, we don't want this to be bourbon.
Right.
And so they started narrowing it down.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
So-
they took the location off of it.
So
too,
the
then.
broad spectrum answer is That's why it's called whiskey and wisdom, because all of them fall
Are-
pretty much
are
under
whiskey.
whiskey.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And then I had somebody that's like, "Oh, do you guys drink bourbon?" And I'm like,
It's called bourbon whiskey.
"Yes,
Right.
Right.
Irish.
all
whiskey.
bourbons are
Yes.
whiskeys, but
Yes.
not all whiskeys are bourbons."
It's like the square and the rectangle thing.
yes,
Right, yeah.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, and that being said, do you ever have Irish whiskey? Or-
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Even a couple weeks ago, we had Scotch.
Oh, okay. Because that's
So-
Scottish whiskey.
Yes.
I tell you now, out of all of the alcohol that I've consumed, it's a large amount, be it as it may. Judgment as needed. Scotch is the one that.
Not tequila.
No, me and tequila are close friends.
Okay.
Close friends. I speak that language. But then again, if I had an option and somebody said, you want Scotch or gin, I'm certainly going Scotch before I go gin, because I don't even think gin should exist. I mean, just put it back into turpentine or rubbing alcohol or pine
So-
needles or whatever.
I will go. So like classic British gin.
Mm.
No, not for me.
Right.
But I've had some of the newer stuff that's a little bit smoother,
Okay.
a little bit more like tolerable. And I'm like, okay, this is exactly. So like we drink Sutlers at the Starling, and they're based out of North Carolina. Love them because like on the bottom of each bottle, they write something silly. Or like they'll have
Also
a
didn't
different
know
phrase,
that.
which is kind of cool. Cause I'm like, they're real people, not just thrown into a conveyor belt and just popped out. And that was just kind of smooth, pretty simple. And then obviously we talk about it on a regular basis. Hidden Chips as a gin, and I love it because
actually has a really good.
I'm a
and I'm
citrus
not much of a
Okay.
gin
person,
Okay.
and I love that
Just
theirs is
something.
more citrus forward.
Mm-hmm.
You still get the classic juniper taste, but like I can put this when people are like, oh well, I need it with a lime or something. I'm like, yeah, well, this expresses a little bit better.
So there's an idea too.
Yeah.
A side spinoff from this podcast as we develop your tequila spectrum. Either tequila and talking, or let's talk tequila. I'm just trying to look for the TT at this point.
Ready?
Coach Reggie,
Yeah.
he said, because he's a tequila
Okay.
drinker, I think the one that he came up with was tequila and tails.
Lovely.
Mm.
That's the play.
Yeah.
That is the play. Nice.
Yeah, once we get this monetized, well, we get 100 people, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then we can start doing spin-off episodes.
There we go. There we go. I don't even know. Vodka would be challenging just because.
See, I will
vodka
say-
bias.
I will say vodka is my least favorite.
I think it's the easiest
It's just the
junk
easiest,
to
yeah.
make, and everybody makes it.
Yeah.
And
That's why it's my least favorite.
old man story at the ABC store, which is umpteen years ago, vodka came in one flavor.
Yeah.
Tequila came in one flavor. Rum came in one flavor. And now when you go to the ABC store, I mean, I feel like an adult at Disney World or something. I
Right.
mean, there's so many, like every couple of weeks, you'd be like, I haven't had this. Okay, so they took it from the oak barrel and they put it in some stainless steel cask. Then they added vanilla. I'll put it in the bath. And
Yeah.
you ever been to an ABC store that has a grocery cart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's. Have you ever purchased so much from the ABC store you had to fill out the permit?
Only once.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm less than 5, but they're like,
I didn't even know that.
yeah, it gets real.
Yeah, if you hit a certain amount, you have to fill out paperwork because they want to know, like, if you're getting rowdy, like,
Or if you're selling it to
yeah.
No, with the-
yeah.
Oh,
And I
When
only
you say
had to do it-
amount, is it like by milliliter amount or is
Yes.
it by like dollar
it's
amount? Because like if you
milliliter.
buy like
Milliliter.
something, okay, it's like
Yeah.
you get like that $7,500 bottle of
nope,
whiskey.
you ain't got to sign
okay.
paperwork for that.
Yeah, because
Unless you're paying cash.
True.
True. Well, it wouldn't
Yeah,
be-
you'd be
it'd
far. You'd be
10.
far enough from
Yeah.
10. You know.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
I
they
had,
get you if you're close.
true. I had a
Then
friend.
you're a frequent flyer at the ABC store.
Yeah, if you came
Yes.
7,500 and 2 weeks later you came 7,500 again.
Right.
Yes.
So-
No, we did a house party years ago.
right.
And that's why they got me. They're like, hey, I was like,
what is this?
yes, I'm 23, but like, dude, I don't know. I've never bought this much liquor. I'm stocking my house bar. Why do you care?
Yep.
But yeah, no, now we went to stock the bar for this new store, and it was like, you need one of everything.
Yep.
Why? I'm like, one, I'm not a bartender. I'm not giving out everybody drinks, but
Right.
you have to have an option.
Yep.
And you're right. There's so many options
Yep.
now.
I had fun this past fall. Well, I guess anyways, over the last few months, again, silly. We've transitioned into some silly stuff now. We regularly carry a stocked bar at our home.
Mhm.
And I mean, 20, 30 bottles of Elemental PXYZ. And I was like, but I often stay in the front with these 5
Right.
that I burn through, turn through. I got to get some makers. I'll be back in a
Yeah.
minute, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And I was like, let's just clear some of this out. And it's been intriguing and fun. And there was a bottle of Johnny Walker in there that got cleared out. And then there was like, my wife sometimes will find herself like on girls' trips, and she does good things, but then she'll come home with like, look at all this stuff I bought. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, pumpkin cream. Like how often? And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
before you know it, she doesn't remember that she purchased pumpkin cream in 2023.
Yeah, drink
So
them.
in 2024, we got another 5th of pumpkin cream, but it's a different brand. So now I got 2/5 of pumpkin cream. And really, what do you do with this
Right.
much pumpkin cream?
You make a house party.
Right, and you put it
And,
out. Make it-
no, you have a specialty cocktail with the pumpkin cream.
Correct. Or you try to get creative and you mix some of the Johnny Walker with some of the pumpkin cream, and it's like a pumpkin whiskey floater.
Interesting.
It wasn't
No.
that fun. It wasn't
No.
that good. It wasn't. But so I've had a lot of fun just cleaning out the cabinet. Maybe soon enough I may have to necessitate another permit
Right.
because the gathering of the bottles has been here and there and here and there and here and there, but the finishing, away. Now there's certainly not. There's not 30 bottles in there anymore. There's still probably closer to 15 to 20 just because like, and there's a bottle of gin in there because I've got
You
to
have to have
gotta
a bottle
have
of
it
gin.
because
right.
if somebody comes over and I say, can I make you a cocktail? And they say gin, I go, my God, hold on.
Right.
Oh, I
Still
got
on the
it.
back.
I got it. Bombay, okay, good.
So,
Gosh,
the first 2 years of the podcast, we had a brand new bottle for every single episode.
Okay.
So do the math there on top of all of the other bottles that people gifted us because they're like, oh, whiskey podcast,
Okay.
here's whiskey. So we had lots of bottles of whiskey. So now we started doing nonprofit events with other nonprofits.
And just
And
show
we
up with it?
provide with
Yes.
the whiskey for whiskey
Cool.
tastings. Yeah. So we're like, we just need to get rid of it. So
I mean, we had over 100 bottles.
Oh,
and then-
different?
different whiskeys. Yeah. Yeah. That's not including the doubles and triples. We have different bottles.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah. So when we
Slice of life with
closed
your
our
Right.
podcast studio, we had a lot of them there, and then we had to find a place for them, and we had to split it across both houses.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then we held an event, and then we were like, okay,
You bring
Wait.
10, I'll bring 10.
that was
Yeah.
that was
So we're finally starting to whittle it down. But
Yeah. I'd rather have too much whiskey than not enough.
that is
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
We always have an option. If you want to bring us a bottle to come on the episode, you guys, I appreciate it. I will gladly drink it because I'm down to try almost anything.
Right.
All right. So, whiskey question.
Yes.
And let's say, just to keep it simple, right? It has to be under $100 because otherwise we're just going to kind of get crazy, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
If you
The
go,
MSRP.
Yeah.
Okay.
so a fifth,
Okay. Yes.
under 100. If you could only have one, what would it be?
Well, you know my answer.
I think Rio is 120, isn't it?
See, that's what I'm saying. See,
Yeah.
it's because it's easy to get carried away. So I'm
Yeah.
telling you to.
Well, that's why it's funny because like the bottle I like isn't that expensive,
Uh-huh.
but if you go find it secondary market,
Right.
ooh,
Like my favorite's E.H. Taylor.
I like the fact that you guys are now double checking. This was hard.
yeah.
Just to make it harder and easier without you guys Googling prices.
Oh well, it's the funny thing because we both were talking about this earlier today. It's like
Sure.
Penelope Rio, if you can get it for retail,
Okay.
is like under 100
Okay.
in some places,
That's true. Yeah.
but you can't ever find it.
Mm.
So typically you're paying anywhere between like 180 and like 250, depending on the state.
And just no.
Oh, I thought MSRP on Rio was 120 for some reason.
Does it?
If you can.
If you can find it.
No, look, Project X Penelope at Total Wine is like $87.
Jeez.
Probably makes me super simple in your sphere, but I would probably just go Buffalo Trace.
If you would have said under 50, I definitely would have said Buffalo
Yeah.
Trace. That's the best like bang for your buck that you're
Yeah.
gonna get,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then maybe I don't have a podcast called Whiskey and Wisdom. So I have $100. But I mean, like, but Elijah Craig,
Not true.
Knob Creek.
Yeah.
There's
Elijah Craig Toasted is
Yeah,
really good.
Right. Elijah Craig has
the-
a great quote too. I don't remember what it is, but like on the bottle, and I find myself saying ridiculous things when I'm pouring it because I'm like, bourbon, it's for the thing.
It's 120.
Something. You're still Googling. Got it.
I would say classic Chris. I do an Old Forester. Yep.
Nice.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Dude, I was in Kentucky
Ooh.
at a real estate function a couple of years ago, and Old Forester was the house whiskey at the hotel bar
Mhm.
that
Wow.
was just giving out complimentary beverages. And I was like, you just don't see that in Wilmington.
No.
And Old Forester is
amazing.
the freest. I was like, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Because I mean, they just, it's right around the corner. And they're like, sure,
Yeah.
help yourself. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
That's pretty freaking cool.
That's a fun endeavor too. If you a different time, different trip. But if you're ever up in the greater Louisville area, or is it Louisville?
I don't know how the
You don't
locals
pronounce the
say
S.
it.
That's the moral of the story is there's no
Louisville.
S in there. It's just Louisville.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's where the Bourbon Trail is,
Mhm.
which I've not done the whole thing, but I've done some of it. And if you're ever in Louisville, then it's a good, go check it out. My brother's been to Eagle Rare and posted up there and came back with things. But definitely, if you're going to put that many drinking things that close to me,
You're gonna
Right,
try
gonna
it.
happen.
might as well. I mean, turn my elbow,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, wait a minute, twist my arm or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
That's potentially the goal for year 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on location.
Go on location. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I have gone to South Carolina twice because there's actually quite a few distilleries down in South
Cool.
Carolina, and I've gone to the distillery and interviewed the owners and all that stuff.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
we were talking about benefits outside of monetization. That's one of them.
yeah,
Just getting to meet fun people.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, I could probably reach out to majority of like business owners in like Southeast North Carolina and just tell them what I have going on here, and if they haven't heard of it already, they'll probably say yes. So just like really easy way to open a conversation.
I think, like you said, on the front side, or even before we got started, right? I mean, it's just building the relationships, making positive impacts. And here's the thing, right? It could just be as simple as this positive impact right here, the three of us. And if anybody out there gains any positive from it, then we've gone even above and beyond.
Yeah.
But, you know, relationships and positive impact. I mean, I'm confident that's what the world boils down to. So,
well, I just want to say thank you for coming on. We went a little over time, you guys, but you know,
my bad.
anything extra is
That's okay.
free, so we'll take it.
Right.
But thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you,
Yes.
guys.
Do you got anything you want to plug besides your event in May for people to follow you or anything?
Man, at the end of the day, I will look to share this podcast on all of my channels. I will look to share all of the information about TEDx Early on all of my channels. And realistically speaking, if you are in Southeastern North Carolina and you have anything, questions, concerns, comments about real estate, buying it, selling it, listing it, brokering it, flipping it, rehabbing it, I may not be the expert, but if I'm not, I probably can get you in touch with who is.
Perfect. Good
Sweet.
contact to know.
So yeah, look them up if you need some help. If you need something else to listen to, we got plenty of episodes. As we mentioned, we're coming up on 4 years of the podcast. So yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. Once we hit our 500 mark, Chris is giving away a bottle of something. And at 1,000, we don't know yet because we haven't gotten close. But
1,000.
subscribers
subscribers
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
throwing out random numbers here.
Sorry. Yes. 500 subscribers and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube because we're shooting for a new goal. hopefully by year 5 we'll have hit that. See, we got some time.
Yeah.
But I always like to get there early.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Catch you in the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.